Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video will help you improve your English listening and speaking skills. Before listening to my story, please subscribe to this channel and like the video. Now, let's listen to this beautiful story with subtitles. Chapter 1. I am not like others. I am Anaya. I am 18 years old. I live in a big house in the city. My father is very rich. We have many cars, a big swimming pool, and many servants. I have everything I want: new clothes, new phones, expensive bags. I get them all. People say I am very beautiful. My skin is fair, my eyes a light brown, and my hair is long and soft. Boys look at me all the time, but I don't care. I only talk to rich and good-looking people. I study in a top college, but I don't really go to class. I tell my parents I go to college, but I go to clubs with my boyfriend. His name is Ryan. He is also rich and very handsome. We go to parties, we drink, we dance, we laugh. I feel free with him. My parents don't know anything. They think I am a good girl. One day, I told my father, "Dad, I don't want to drive anymore. I want a driver." He said, "Okay, I will find one for you." That day, something happened to my father. He was walking on the road when his wallet fell from his pocket. A boy picked it up and ran to him. "Sir, you dropped this," the boy said. My father looked at him. He was dark-skinned, wearing old clothes, and looked very poor, but he had kind eyes and a nice smile. "Thank you," my father said. "What's your name?" "I'm Jay," the boy said. "What do you do?" my father asked. "Nothing. I don't have a job," Jay replied. My father remembered I wanted a driver. He looked at Jay again. "Do you know how to drive?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Jay said. "I can drive very well." "Come with me," my father said. So, Jay came to our house. I was in my room when my father called me. I went downstairs. "Anaya," he said, "this is your new driver. His name is Jay." I looked at Jay. I was shocked. He was so dark. His clothes were cheap. He didn't look like someone who should be near me. "Dad," I said, "no, I don't want this boy as my driver. He's ugly. He's black. He looks like a servant, not a driver." "Anaya," my father shouted, "don't say such things. He helped me today. He is honest. That's more important than his color." I crossed my arms and said, "Fine, but I don't want him to talk to me." Jay just stood there. He didn't say anything. His eyes were quiet. I turned around and went back to my room. From the next day, Jay started driving me. He was always quiet. He opened the door for me, drove carefully, and waited for me. He was never rude, but I still didn't like him. I didn't even look at him. Every day I told my parents, "I'm going to class." But I wasn't. I was going to the club to meet Ryan. I told Jay to drop me near a cafe close to my college. After we drove for 10 minutes, I said, "Change of plan. Drop me near Blue Sky Club." Jay looked confused, but he didn't say anything. He dropped me at the club. I went inside, laughing with my friends. That night, I came out late. I had drunk too much. Ryan was with me. Jay was waiting outside. When he saw me like that, he looked sad. I didn't care. Take me home, I said. On the way, I told Jay, if you tell my parents about this, I'll tell them you're trying to get close to me. You'll lose your job. Got it? Jay didn't answer. He just looked ahead and drove. This happened many times. I lied. I partied. I drank. I came back late. Jay never told my parents. He always drove me home safely. One day, Ryan and I had a big fight. He shouted at me. He said, "You're just a toy. I don't love you. You're too proud and stupid." I cried. I ran out. I called Jay. "Come get me," I said. Jay came. I sat in the back seat and cried all the way home. Jay didn't say anything, but he looked at me through the mirror. His eyes were soft. That was the first time I looked at him properly. His skin was dark, yes, but he was not ugly. He had strong arms and kind eyes, and he always treated me well. Days passed. One morning, I woke up feeling sick. I went to the doctor, and then I got the biggest shock of my life. I was pregnant. I couldn't think. My hands shook. My heart beat fast. I couldn't tell my parents. I couldn't tell anyone. I went home and cried. Then I called Ryan. He didn't answer. I called again and again. Nothing. The next day, I saw him with another girl. He didn't care. I was alone. Then my parents found out. They shouted. My mother cried. My father said, "Get out of this house. You brought shame to us." They pushed me out. I stood outside, in the rain, with just one bag. Then I saw Jay. He had heard everything. He walked to me. He took my bag. "Come," he said. "You can stay with me." Tears filled my eyes. I followed him. Chapter 2. A New Life Begins. Jay lived in a small house in a poor area. It was not big, not beautiful, not clean, but it was quiet. It was safe. It had one bed, a small kitchen, and a bathroom with a broken light. I stood at the door, wet from the rain, holding my bag. Jay looked at me kindly. "You can take the bed. I'll sleep on the floor," he said. I looked at him. "Why are you helping me?" I asked. Jay didn't smile. He just said, "Because you need help, and I'm not like others." That night, I lay on his bed. I didn't sleep. My mind was full of fear. What will happen to me? What will happen to my baby? I touched my stomach. A baby was growing inside me. Ryan didn't care. My parents threw me out. But Jay, he was still here. Jay gave me food, clean clothes, and a blanket. He even found me medicine. Every morning, he left the house early and worked small jobs, cleaning cars, carrying bags, helping in shops. He worked all day and came back with food. One day, I asked him, "Why do you work so hard for me?" He said, "Because you are not alone anymore." His words made my heart feel warm. Days passed. I cleaned the house, cooked rice and curry, washed clothes. I had never done those things before. My hands were soft and weak, but I was learning. I was changing. Jay came home tired every evening, but he never complained. He brought me fruits, milk, and even books. Sometimes we sat outside and talked. "Do you miss your parents?" he asked once. I nodded, yes, but they don't want me now. Jay looked up at the stars and said, Sometimes, the people who hurt you teach you how to stand alone." I didn't understand before, but now I was beginning to. My body started to change. My belly grew bigger. My face looked pale, but Jay was always there. When I felt sick, he helped me. When I cried, he listened. One day, I cooked a simple dinner and waited for him. He was late, very late. I started to worry. It was raining heavily. I sat near the door, listening. Then I heard footsteps. The door opened. Jay came in, holding a white paper. His face was sad. "What happened?" I asked. He gave me the paper. It was from the hospital. "I went to check something today." He said, I had some pain in my chest. I read the paper. I didn't understand everything, but one word made me freeze. Cancer. I looked at him. "Jay, you have cancer?" He nodded. "Stage 1. They said it's early. I can fight it." I started crying. "Why didn't you tell me before?" Jay smiled a little. "Because you already have too much to worry about." I held his hand. It was cold. That night, I couldn't sleep. I thought about everything he did for me. He gave me a home when I had no one. He gave me food, safety, care, and now he was sick and still thinking about me. I decided something that night. I would not leave him. I would take care of him, like he took care of me. The next day, I went with Jay to the hospital. I sat beside him as he talked to the doctor. He needed medicine, he needed rest, and he needed love. I found a small sewing job near the house. I started working. I made little money, but I saved every coin. I cooked, cleaned, worked, and watched Jay. One evening, after dinner, Jay looked at me and said, "You are not the same girl I first met." I smiled. I know. I was proud. I was foolish. I was blind. But now, I can see. We sat quietly. Then Jay said something I never expected. "Anaya, can I tell you something?" "Yes," I said. "I think I'm falling in love with you." My heart stopped for a second. I looked at him. He was serious. He continued, "I know I am poor. I am not handsome. I'm dark-skinned. I'm just a driver. But my heart is real. My love is real." Tears came to my eyes. I held his hand. "Jay, you are the only person who stood by me when the whole world turned away. You are the only one who cared. I think I'm falling in love with you too." He smiled. It was the first time I saw him smile fully. His whole face lit up. But then, suddenly, the door banged open. I turned around and saw my father. He was standing in the rain, angry and shouting. "Anaya, come home now. You brought shame to our family. But I won't let you live with this driver." Jay stood up. I held Jay's hand tightly. "No," I said. "I won't leave him. I love him." My father looked at me, shocked. You will regret this." He turned around and walked away. The rain poured harder. Jay looked at me. "Are you sure?" I nodded. "Yes, I choose you." Chapter 3. The Pain, the Love, the Promise. Days turned into weeks. My father never came back. I didn't cry this time. I had cried enough. I was no longer the girl who only cared about money, parties, and beauty. I had changed, and the reason for my change was sitting next to me every day, Jay. His smile gave me peace. His touch gave me strength. Even when his body became weak because of the sickness, his soul stayed strong. He never gave up. I remember one evening very clearly. Jay was sitting outside on a chair. The sun was setting. His eyes were closed, and the soft orange light made his skin glow. I sat next to him and placed my head on his shoulder. He opened his eyes and said, "You know, Anaya, I used to pray for a small, peaceful life. I never thought I would fall in love with someone like you." "Someone like me?" I asked softly. "Yes," he said, "a rich, proud, beautiful girl with eyes full of fire." I smiled. "You tame the fire, Jay, with your kindness." He laughed a little. "You tamed my loneliness." I felt tears in my eyes. Every night, I talked to the baby growing inside me. I placed my hands on my belly and said, "You are already so lucky. You have a father who didn't want you, but now you have someone who loves you more than anything. Jay is your real father." Jay heard me once. He came close, knelt down, and kissed my belly. "Little one," he whispered, "I will protect you with my life." And I knew, deep in my heart, he meant it. But God had other plans. One morning, Jay fell to the floor. His whole body shook. I screamed and held him. His eyes were open but blank. I called the neighbors. They took us to the hospital. After many tests, the doctor came to me. "His condition is getting worse," he said. "He needs strong treatment. It will cost a lot." I didn't have money. I had no jewels. I had no gold, but I had love. I stood outside the hospital and cried. Then I saw a big board. Plasma donation, 10,000 per person. I went inside and said, "Take my blood. Take anything. I just want Jay to live." I worked night and day. I cleaned houses. I washed clothes for people. My hands were bleeding. My back hurt. My feet had blisters, but I didn't stop. I did it for him. Jay saw me one evening. He was in the hospital bed, thin and tired. "Why are you doing this?" he asked with tears. I held his hand. "Because I love you. You saved me when I was nothing. Now it's my turn." He cried silently. One night, I came home late. I was tired, dirty, and hungry. I lay on the bed and cried alone. Suddenly, I felt a sharp pain in my stomach. I screamed. The neighbors came. They called a tuk-tuk and took me to the hospital. I was going into labor. I kept shouting Jay's name. "Where's Jay? I want Jay." They told me he was too weak to come. I closed my eyes and remembered his voice, his smile, his touch. After long hours of pain, I heard a baby cry. "It's a girl." The nurse said. They placed her in my arms. She was so small, so perfect. She looked nothing like Ryan. She looked like me. But when I looked into her eyes, I saw Jay. Calm, deep, loving. I smiled through my tears. The next day, I took her to Jay. He was lying on the hospital bed. His face was pale, but his eyes shone when he saw me. She's beautiful, he whispered. She's ours, I said. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for giving me a family, Anaya. We named her Hope, because she came into this world when we had nothing but love and hope. Jay began his treatment. I stayed in the hospital with him every day, holding Hope in one hand and his hand in the other. He smiled when Hope made little noises. He laughed when she sneezed. One day, he looked at me and said, Anaya, will you marry me? I laughed. Of course, I will. 8,000 times. Yes. We didn't have a big wedding. No lights, no music, no gold, just 2 hearts, 1 promise, and a little baby girl sleeping beside us. Jay placed a small ring made from grass on my finger. I don't have diamonds, he said, but this is made from love. I kissed him and said, it's perfect. We were happy, but happiness is not always simple. One rainy night, I went outside to dry clothes. I saw a black car stop in front of our small house. A man got out. I froze. It was Ryan. He looked at me, then at the house. I want to see the baby, he said. No, I replied. She is my daughter. He shouted. She is not yours anymore, I said, holding the door. He pushed past me and entered the house. Jay was holding Hope in his arms. Ryan looked at them both and said, You think she's yours now? You think you can take my place? Jay stood up, his body weak but his eyes strong. I didn't take your place, he said. You gave it away. Ryan's face turned red. I'll take her back. I have money. I can give her a good life. You have nothing. Jay held Hope close and said calmly, But I have love, and that's more than anything you'll ever have. Ryan stepped forward. Touch her, I said, and I'll fight like a lion. Just then, Hope started crying loudly. Jay whispered to her, It's okay, baby, Daddy's here. Ryan stood still. Then, he turned around and walked out without another word. I closed the door and hugged Jay and Hope tightly. And I knew no one could break what we had. Chapter 4. Forever Yours. Months passed. Jay's treatment continued, and slowly he began to get better. The dark circles under his eyes faded. His smile returned. He was still thin, but his heart was strong. Hope started to grow. She began to crawl. Her first word was, Dad. She said it while pulling Jay's shirt. He cried like a child that day. We both did. We were poor. We had only 2 chairs, a small table, and 1 bed, but we were rich with love. Jay worked part-time when he felt strong. I stitched clothes and looked after Hope. Our little home was full of laughter. Hope's giggles were the sweetest music. Every evening, We sat outside and told stories. Jay told stories about stars. I told stories about change. Hope listened with wide eyes. One night, Jay brought home a little cake. "What's this for?" I asked. He smiled. "It's our first wedding anniversary." I looked at him, surprised. "It's already been 1 year?" "Yes," he said. 1 year since you became mine, and I became yours." We cut the cake and fed Hope tiny pieces. She made a mess, and we laughed. Then, Jay stood up and held my hands. "I want to give you something," he said. He took out a small box from his pocket. Inside was a simple silver ring. "This time," he said, "it's not made of grass." I laughed with tears. He put the ring on my finger. Then we danced. No music, no lights, just our hearts beating together. But life is not always fair. One morning, Jay woke up coughing badly, blood on his lips. We rushed to the hospital. The doctor looked serious. "The cancer is back. This time, it's stronger." I felt my world breaking. But he was getting better, I whispered. The doctor shook his head, as sometimes the disease hides and then returns. Jay looked at me, holding my hand. "It's okay," he said. "I'm not afraid." I cried, "But I am. I can't live without you." He wiped my tears. "You're stronger than you know." The doctor gave him 2 weeks to live. 2 weeks. I wanted to scream. I wanted to fight God. But I stayed strong. For Jay. For Hope. We brought him home. Every night, I read him stories. I sang songs. I talked about our memories. One evening, he asked me, "Anaya, are you happy?" I looked at him, my eyes full of tears. "Yes, you gave me the happiest days of my life." He smiled. Promise me you'll take care of Hope. Promise me you'll smile, even when I'm gone." I placed his hand on my heart. "I promise." That night, he whispered something before closing his eyes. "I was just a poor, dark boy, but your love made me a king." And then, he slept, forever. I held his body and cried like never before. Hope came and touched his face. "Dad," she said. I kissed her. "He's sleeping, baby. Daddy's sleeping in the stars." We buried him under a big tree near our house. I placed his photo there. Every morning, I sat with Hope and talked to him. "Jay, she's walking now." "Jay," she said, "I love you today." "Jay, we miss you." Time moved on. Hope turned 2. She was full of life, full of energy. She had her father's calm eyes and my smile. I started a small tailoring shop. People from the town came to me for stitching. Business grew. I saved money. I bought a small bike. I built a better house. But nothing was better than Jay. Every night, before sleep, Hope looked at his photo and said, "Good night, Dad." One day, I took her to the tree. "Sweetheart," I said, "do you know who lived here?" She nodded. "My superhero." I smiled. "Yes, the greatest man I ever met." And then, I told her our story. The story of a proud girl and a poor, kind driver. The story of pain, change, and real love. The story of Jay. Hope looked up at the sky. I love you, Dad, she whispered. I held her hand, and in that moment, I knew Jay was still with us, in our hearts, in our smiles, in the love that never ends. Subscribe to this channel to hear more stories like this. Thank you for watching. See you with another beautiful story like this. Have a good day.